iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to race number 2 here for the American Sim Racing Club Sportsman Series. Tonight we are at Lucas Oil Raceway, and as you can tell once again, we're still under the weather here in the Brett the Jet camp, but that's alright. We got the mic nice and turned up, and a little ASMR or something with me whispering into the mic. So get ready for that tonight as these guys get ready to do some short track format here at the Lucas Oil Raceway. First up, we got qualifying, then we'll have 2 heats, and then of course we'll top it on off with the 100-lap main event here as we got our first cars rolling out on the speedway. One of those being Devin McDonald in the 18 machine. Looks like Devin has a wrap on that thing and looking pretty sporty here, so it looks like he will not like the start to that, so we'll take a look at the 3 machine, that being Donovan Cardy coming out here. This is his first series he's running with us here at ASRC, and looking to make an impact here tonight for race number 2. Also in the booth, we got a special guest here tonight to take over from me talking a little bit. We got Andrew Payne. Andrew, how you doing here tonight? We're excited to have you in the booth.
I'm excited to be up here, and thank you for having me as your guest tonight.
Yeah, Andrew, we know you put a lot of good work into this series, and excited for a 4th season. I can't believe it's already been 4 seasons already.
Yeah, I know. I was getting this season already, and I was getting some information from the other series and for this other seasons, and yeah, when it came around to be the 4th season, it sort of surprised me, and didn't realize I'd been doing it for this long. But I've enjoyed it so far, and looking forward to the this season.
Yeah, I tell you what, Andrew, I'm excited for this season as well, and we'll take a look at some more cars out on the speedway. One car out there getting up to speed is the 48 machine of Tim Rogers. I think he might have a little bit of an issue, so maybe, I don't know if anyone else is out there on a lap. It seems like everyone, Andrew, coming out very quickly to complete a lap as we see Tim Rogers kind of pacing on around here for his 2nd lap.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of these guys have got their couple laps up early, and wanted to get fast laps put up, and I think maybe the weather was what they wanted it to be with the ever changing track state here.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew, and I tell you what, we saw it live Donovan Carty puts that thing P number 1, so an impressive run by him. Looks like Stephen Hoffman will be P number 2, Ron Hart P3, Tim Rogers P4, and Devin McDonald looks like rounding out the top 5 with some pretty good close times throughout the board here tonight.
Yeah, Donovan, the only one in qualifying to put it in the 3 bracket, but yeah, a lot of these times are fairly close. A lot of these guys come from our short track division too, and we put up some close times there. And these cars at this track are not far off of the super late models, so it is interesting to see how close a lot of these guys are.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew. And I tell you what, I'm excited for some heat racing action here tonight. I think we've got enough cars for 2 heat races here tonight, so we'll have probably all the odd guys in the first heat and all the even numbered qualifying guys in heat number 2.
Yeah, the heat should be good. This season we changed it up a little bit to spread out the cars into more heat races. We don't have the car count for it tonight, but there is the option to run 4 heat races throughout the night, and allows some of these guys to gain a little bit more points and not be all over each other in the heat races. They're only 15 lap heat races, so you kind of got to get up and go right away. But looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a good one, Andrew. And I tell you what, I'm excited for some short track racing here. Last time we went to a short track was the season finale of last season at Irwindale. And I tell you what, some fireworks went off there, some sparks flew, and I think a little bit of tempers by the end of the night.
Yeah, I know some of our Irwindale, as you were saying, was definitely a interesting one. I know some of our short track races in general last season were pretty interesting. Um, I know we're at a little bit of a smaller field here tonight, but it should be a good show nonetheless, with especially with how close these guys are, and looking forward to some good old-fashioned short track racing.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew. I can't wait to see some short track racing here tonight as we get ready. We'll go over some race information right before here qualifying, so we'll get it up on the screen. The Lucas Oil Speedway looks like 2/3 of a mile length and track, and of course, this is the American Sim Racing Club Sportsman Series, and we gotta thank all the viewers tuning in here tonight. If you like what you see and maybe want to find out more, be sure to check out that website down there at the bottom of your screen. As we get ready, I think, Andrew, for heat race number 1. As we got cars gridding up on the grid, we're going to go run through heat race number 1. Donovan Carty will start on pole in the 3 machine. Starting to his outside is Ron the Hitman Hart. Starting in row number 2 is Devin McDonald with Brian Wilderson to his outside. And making up the final row for heat number 1 is Nathan Henry with John DeMeester.
Tim.
As we get ready to rock and roll, we got cars rolling off from the grid here. Getting ready for heat race number 1. As this will be the wave lap, folks, so give your favorite driver out here in heat number 1 a wave here. Next time by, they'll be going green flag for 15 laps here to determine the starting order and, of course, some bonus points when it's all said and done. As you can tell, folks, Lucas Oil, still talking about Irwindale. Lucas Oil, not too banked of a speedway, so we'll see guys either ripping it right around the wall or just where that progressive banking starts, right there, about a seam on up from the bottom. You'll see no one really right at the bottom of the speedway here tonight. These drivers looking for traction wherever they can find it. As we go green flag racing here off of turn number 4. Dominic Riccardi will lead us to green as we get contact at the start here. Dev McDonald facing the wrong way on the speedway here early for our first yellow. as we'll take a look at the replay here. Andrew, what'd you see there in that incident here?
I mean, it looks like the 18 just got a little wheel spin there on my end. I know these cars can get a little wheel happy there.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew, and I think he might have got a piece of Ron Hart. I think he might have moved off the wall just a little bit, and that sent the 18 machine just enough out of control that he tried to save it and got the left side weight and made pretty good contact with the wall. I think Brian Wilderson also got a piece of the action as well. But a pretty good hit for Devin McDonald here to start heat race number 2. It doesn't look like that car is too much damaged, as looks like he's still out there on the speedway. Donovan Carty goes to the back. I don't know if he decided to claim that yellow or whatnot. We might have to talk to race control of Andrew Payne to find out what happened to that 3 car. Hey Andrew, do you have an update on Donovan Carty at the back of the pack?
Yes, I do, Brett. Donovan did change lanes right before the start-finish line, and that is in our rulebook. So instead of it being a pass-through under green because a caution came out, it's just an ELO penalty at this point.
Thank you very much for the update, Andrew. Appreciate it. As yeah, that gives our viewers a little bit of insight of what's going on. And as you can tell, folks, a lot going on all the time here with these virtual racing. A lot to take watching. Andrew's pretty good at multitasking these days, I tell you what.
Yeah, I'm a little all over the place right now. I'm, got the claim windows and everything, and I'm making notes for some cautions and whatnot. So I'm here and there and everywhere, but it's fun nonetheless.
Oh yeah, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. As it looks like we're getting ready to go back racing. We got the field doubled on up, and it looks like Ron Hart will be leading us to green flag here in the 51 machine. Off of turn number 4, the field comes. Ron, the Hitman Hart, waiting to jump on the loud pedal here. And heat race number 1 will go back to green flag racing action. As this time by, it looks like a lot cleaner start from the field. Ron Hart will dive it down into turn number 1, try and clear himself from Brian Wilderson, who will try and get a run off of turn number 2. Down the backstretch of the field comes. Wilderson drives it in a little bit harder than Ron Hart. Ron Hart trying to figure out where is the best line around here. It's further on back. We got Donovan Carty trying to make the moves on Devin McDonald. Donovan showing a lot of speed here in the beginning part of this race, in qualifying, so he's going to have to show that speed in the beginning part of this race, of this heat race number 1, try and get back some of those positions so he doesn't have to start as far back here in the main event. Last time by, the fastest car out on the speedway was the 951 of Brian Wilderson, as we had Donovan Carty once again looking to the inside of Devin McDonald. As Devin McDonald gets big time sideways, he will collect Donovan Carty, and once again we'll have the second caution of the night, once again involving that 18 machine. And by first glance, it maybe looks like he might have goosed it just a little bit too hard off of turn number 4. We'll take a look at the replay here. That's Devin McDonald trying to get that run from that top side. Maybe a little bit too much wheel in the car. Tries to correct it. Once again, overcorrects just a little bit. Gets a piece of the wall, but also Donovan Carty gets a piece of that right side of that 18 machine, as he will loop it on the front stretch and bring out our second yellow flag here from heat race number 1. Andrew, you got any updates there in the booth?
Um, I think we did get a claim on that one. Devin picked the claim up, but other than that, I think we're gonna just be we're going green this next time by. Keep the night rolling, keep the heats going, and hopefully we can finish this one out in the allotted time we have.
Yep, that's key. Always a good thing to have. A quick show is always much appreciated. So, awesome job keeping the show rolling and get back to some green flag racing action. Alrighty, folks, we go back to green flag racing action. Ron Hart gets away with a great start over Brian Wilderson, already able to jump to that top line. Wilderson now has Nate Henry right there behind him, but he might be under fire from Donovan Cardy in that 3. This time by will be under 10 laps to go for heat race number 1. Nate Henry able to hang on to that 3rd position in that monster 59 machine. Donovan Carter trying his hardest, but a little bit of kicking out the back end there off of 2. That's not going to help him try and reel in this 59 machine. As everyone kind of spaced on out for the most part here. Brian Wilderson is closing the gap to Ron Hart. Wilderson very driving in there pretty deep as Donovan Cardy once again very loose off of turn number 2. Brian Wilderson kind of drives it in there deeper than our race leader Ron Hart, but able to float the car a little bit higher, but he has to wait to get on that throttle. So that's where Ron Hart's beating him on corner eggs, especially off of 2 here. But Wilderson very smooth through these corners and able to roll it very nicely. As Donovan Cardy still tries his hand on Nate Henry. That rear end's definitely loose as he gets a piece of the wall here in 3 and 4. Donovan's probably losing some traction here as these General tires do not like to get overheated, folks. They are very temperature sensitive tires, so Donovan getting that thing that sideways over and over. It's only bound to happen as he gets big time sideways on the backstretch, able to keep it rolling, but we will not see a yellow flag as Donovan will fall back to 6th place in this heat race. As that time by Nate Henry gets big time sideways off of turn number 2. Brian Wilderson keeping Ron Hart honest, but keeping right there about 2 car lengths back this whole race. As this time by, we'll see popsicle sticks up in the air for the race leaders. Brian Wilderson might be a force to reckon with by the feature time, because I tell you what, he's keeping Ron Hart honest, like I said before, and keeping the pressure on him. As this time by, we'll see the white flag for heat race number 1. As the leaders go back down the backstretch for the final time here in heat race number 1, and through 3 and 4 they come. It looks like Ron the Hitman Hart will pick up heat win number 1. Brian Wilderson will finish in 2nd. Nate Henry will round out the top 3. As we now get ready, folks, for heat race number 2. Alrighty, Andrew, what'd you think of the ending there of heat race number 1?
I thought it was really good. Once they got rolling a little bit, they spread out and we're putting some solid laps together. I thought Brian was going to be able to get Ron, but Ron is really strong on these short tracks, and it was good solid run. Hopefully Heat 2 can go a little more smooth, go all the way without a caution. Um, but I mean, who knows? I thought that was 6 cars, but we had a couple cautions and we got 5 in this one, so this one could be a little chaotic too.
Yep, we never know with these short tracks, Andrews, as we know, especially with these ARCA cars. We see some crazy things happen on the short tracks, but running through tonight's starting order for heat race number 2, we got Stephen Hoffman in the 23. Starting to his outside is Tim Rogers in the 48. Row number 2 being made up of Dave Payne, with Lee Campbell to his outside. And rounding out heat race number 2 is Deontay Hero. And like you said, Andrew, I tell you what, Ron Hart's going to be tough to beat, but Brian Wilderson was definitely figuring something out there in the 951.
Yeah, I think they were good on the shorter run, 15-lap run, but it'll be interesting to see with the main event being 100 laps, who can really keep the tires on the car and really keep themselves in a good spot. And who knows? I think there might have to be a little bit of a fuel strategy tonight too in the main.
Oh man, a lot to think about. And speaking about tires, Andrew, how many tire sets do these drivers have here tonight?
They got their starting set, and then they have 2 additional sets on the wall. So more than enough to get through the rest of the night.
Alrighty, cool stuff. As we get ready, we're in the restart zone, and they go green flag racing. Pretty dead even for the front row. To see if Steve Hoffman drives it in there. This may allow Tim Rogers to get around on the top side.
I know starting up front is good normally, but here with the top line being as dominant as it is, Tim got that solid run through 1 and 2 and was able to pick off the lead there from Steven, but Steven didn't really fire that fall. You know what I'm trying to say? He's still right on, hot on Tim's heels.
Yep, keeping Tim Rogers honest in that lead as looks like Stephen Hoffman maybe a Ken Block tribute scheme here tonight with that Hoonigan on there. As Hoffman big time sideways off of turn number 4.
Don't count out Dave Payton though. I know he didn't get the best start that he wanted, but I know he's got that long run speed, saving his tires, especially with Steven sliding the tires as he is. Watch out for Dave, especially if we get a caution here.
Yeah, I tell you what, Dave picked up a win in the Wednesday night series. I think he's now looking for a win here as Stephen Hoffman looks like he's already losing that right rear traction here early in this heat race.
Yeah, Dave has a ton of good momentum here, and I know he's been really close to a couple wins in this series, and I know he really, really wants one, especially with how last season ended. But I think he's going to be a good show for the night. As long as he can get around Steven in the heat race, he should be good. But it's so hard to pass on the bottom here.
That is very true, Andrew. You got to either hope they make a mistake in front of you and you can capitalize on it, kind of clear yourself, or else maybe a little bit of netcode. I don't know if I'm talking about experience with that.
Yeah, I know we've had some close run-ins here. You and me racing hard here in the modifieds a couple seasons back, but it is hard to pass, and you can't really slide up here, especially with the little bit of reverse baking on the bottom. That doesn't help these cars too much.
Nope, and what also doesn't help him is getting in the wall, and Stephen Hoffman, a pretty good shot to the wall there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, getting in the wall in general is not really a good thing, but especially with the most recent update that iRacing's had, if you get in the wall a little bit too long, it will start to block down your car. So to prevent some of the wall riding in some of these tracks and some of these cars, I know getting in the wall in the ARCA cars aren't going to help you at all, but any sort of wall contact for a long period of time is even going to be much more of a detriment than it was before.
What, they don't want people pulling a Ross Chastain here?
I mean, the next gen cars on the service were really good at it after the fact. I know from a little bit of personal experience in those cars, but Yeah, I do applaud iRacing for coming up with a fix for that, how they did. Um, but I know that sometimes the wall contact for a long period of time isn't wall riding, but good old wall glue as we call it. But it's still a good call on iRacing's end.
Yeah, it looked like a battle was shaping up for the 4th position, but it looks like Deontay Hero might have used up his tires there as he's fallen back from Lee Campbell. But out there in front, kind of setting sail. Tim Rogers in that Skull Machine looking pretty sporty here tonight.
Yeah, Tim's put himself in a good spot. He should be starting second in the main event, and he's shown that he can save his tires while a lot of these guys are slipping and sliding around, getting in the wall. I haven't seen Tim slip up once so far in this heat, but you know, and that should bode well too for our main event.
Yeah, Tim claims he can't run dirt too well, but I tell you what, he can run a very loose race car on pavement really well. I think that's one of Tim Rogers' best strong suits is a loose race car on a short track like we have tonight.
Yeah, he definitely has that drivability with on the looser side of things with these cars, and I mean, I haven't seen him miss up once tonight, and I've seen the rest of his competitors in this heat sliding his right rear is probably going in a little bit too hot, but he hasn't slipped up once, and it's really showing what he can do in these longer runs.
Yeah, it is Ron Hart. Brian Wilderson might have to watch out when Tim Rogers shuts a strong run here in heat race number 2. This time by, we have 2.5 laps left already. As I don't want to jinx anything, Andrew, but it looks like we might go flag to flag here in heat race number 2.
Well, we still got, you know, 4 more chances of wrecking going in or out of these corners, so you know. But this heat race has been really good so far, and the cars have been fairly spread out, but still some pretty solid racing nonetheless.
Yep, I agree, Andrew. And as this time off at turn number 4, Tim Rogers in that 48 machine, we'll see the white flag. As Tim Rogers heads through 3 and 4 for the final time for heat race number 2, he will pick up the win. Stephen Hoffman will finish in second. Dave Payton, just on the back bumper, will finish in the 3rd position. As we now get ready to head over to some warm up here, and we'll get a chance to talk to some drivers here. Alrighty, folks, we're going to try and dial up some heat race winners here from this. One of those drivers being the 51 machine of Ron Hart. Ron, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Giant in the booth here.
Yeah, Brett, I got you.
Alrighty, man. So me, myself, we're under the weather, but you seem to be doing pretty good yourself out there, Ron. How are you thinking of the car and the track here tonight?
Yeah, you sound a little bit rough there, Brett, but we're holding up all right. Good to get a heat win. Would like to have a little bit more speed there, kind of just changing different lines, trying to figure out where it needed to be. Really didn't do too much practice tonight, so it worked out all right in the heat race, but I think we need to make it a little bit better for the future.
Yeah, Ron, and looking at some real life stuff, it seems like your car's up for sale now, and looks like that thing's going official. So gotta be a little bit bittersweet from that Ron Hart camp. I know a win might be might set the tone for some good stuff to come. What do you think?
Yeah, man, definitely gonna be sad. We had a good run with that Camaro, and got to make some room for the new car. So it's going to a new home tomorrow night. Got a drawing at 9 o'clock. Appreciate everybody who shared it and helped get that full, and it worked out really good. So I'm excited to see who wins that tomorrow, and we'll be sad to see it leave, but excited to get the new one in the garage and get to work.
Yeah, I tell you what, Ron, I'm excited to see that thing. Hopefully you'll be out and about traveling a little bit with that car, because I tell you what, there's some big races this next season that I'm sure you're eyeing up as well. You got any off the top of your head you're looking at?
I think we're going to start the year just at Owasso, man. They're doing a nice job of getting it ready to go, putting a lot of effort into it, repaving it. I think it's going to be a really, really good field of cars out there in all the classes, and it's close to home. So I'm going to take at least the first half of the year and just learn at Owasso and go from there.
Alrighty, well, I won't keep you too long, Ron. I'll let you get in the zone here, and best of luck to you on the future. You get to start on the pole. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, thanks, Brett.
Alrighty, folks, and now we'll dial up our second heat race winner, that being the 48 machine of Tim Rogers. Tim, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth.
I do have a copy.
Alrighty, man, you looked very sporty out here tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this car track combo and what you're feeling there to pick up that heat win number 2?
Well, I knew I was starting on the outside, so I know I had a good shot to win this if I just stuck it up on top, and I was able to hold the top side through 1 and 2 after the green flag, and it was smooth sailing after that. It's a little tight. The track's very flat, so anything you do going into the corner, you're going to be heading towards the wall. So, yeah, I might be over driving the corner. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just going to try and survive tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tim, 100 laps is a lot of laps here tonight around this track. I think we'll see some tires saving. Not only the right front, but the right rear. It looked pretty loose on corner exit.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's pretty manageable. It's just, I think managing that right front is going to be the big thing. Because I think just exit's going to be super, like, the easiest thing to cover. It's just not overcooking that right front entering the corner.
I tell you what, Tim, we were talking to you in the booth, about you in the booth, and we say, oh, Tim excels at this. I know you say you're not too good at dirt, but tell you what, you give you a loose car on the pavement stuff, that's where you really shine.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, I love a loose race car. I'll just say that. I love a loose race car. I rather my car be wrecking loose than driving tight, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm in that same boat. So, Tim, before you go, I'm going to go wish you best of luck here for you at the main event, and hopefully we'll be talking to you on the other side.
All right, see you then.
Alrighty, folks, that was Tim Rogers, winner of heat race number 2, as we get ready now to head over to our main event. Alrighty, folks, it is party time. The main event, 100 laps around this Lucas Oil Speedway. On pole, we got Ron the Hitman Hart. Starting to his outside is Tim Rogers in the 48 machine. Starting in row number 2 is Brian Wilderson with Stephen Hoffman. Row number 3 is Nathan Henry with Dave Payne. Row number 4, Dev McDonald with Lee Campbell. Row number 5 is Donovan McCartney and Deontay Hero. And rounding out the field tonight is John DeMeester in the Blue Deuce. As the field gets rolling on away, Andrew, you pumped up for this main event?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Brett. We had some solid runs in the heat races. Now we got all the cars on the track at one time. 100 laps is a long way to go, but I know these guys are going to be able to put on a really solid show, and it'll be curious to see who is able to save their stuff, and who can work their way through the field.
Yeah, I agree with that, Andrew. It's going to be very fun to watch as this time by. It's the wave lap, so get up on your feet. Give your favorite driver a wave who you're rooting on for. As we get ready next time by, we'll be going green flag racing action. As the iRacing pace car heads off to pit road, we now wait for the 51 of Ron Hart to fire on off and bring us to green flag race in action. As Ron Hart jumps on the loud pedal here, we go green flag racing as he gets away with a great start. Tim Rogers now has to battle Brian Wilderson here into turn number 1. Looks like everyone able to get through cleanly 1 and 2 as everyone files on out. It's Devin McDonald goes around on the backstretch. It looks like everyone will avoid him and we'll be under our yellow flag here pretty quickly for our first yellow of the main event. We'll take a look at the turn 3 replay here off of turn number 2. I think they might have had a little bit of contact between Dave Payne and Devin McDonald. As Dave Payne was all the way up against the wall. I don't think he could move up much more. Everyone does a great job at avoiding the slide in Devin McDonald as he'll come to a rest in turn number 3. And no harm, no foul, but Devin McDonald will probably tag on to the back of the line up here. Alrighty, Andrew, you got any update from race control over there?
Yep, we had Devin claim that one, just kind of came up the track a little bit and washed up into Dave Payton. It was just, light contact, but still resulted in a spin. And I think we're going to be going 1 to green this time. Bye.
Awesome. Love to keep the show rolling. Love to see it. And yeah, I tell you what, Andrew Everin did a great job at avoiding the spin in Devin McDonald. No extra damage. Everyone continues on with their race.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Not getting any damage, and no one did. I know Devin's tires probably are going to be hurting a little bit for him sliding, but that's all right. I got a couple extra sets anyways, and it's still a long race.
Yep. Thank you very much, Andrew. As we now get ready to rock and roll again, Ron Hart will once again lead us to green. Tim Rogers to his outside. We'll have to see if Tim can maybe time the start a little bit better and try and stay to the outside of the 51 machine heading into turn number 1. As the iRacing pace car heads down pit road, we once again wait for Ron Hart to jump on it. As he does so, once again, gets another great start. Tim Rogers once again side by side with Brian Wilderson for the second position as the field heads into turn number 1. As contact further on back, it looks like Lee Campbell will go around. Looks like he might have gotten some help from the 00 machine of Deontay here. We'll take a look here on the replay. As almost 3 wide here as, Deontay just gets the back bumper of Lee Campbell. That'd be enough to send that car sideways and maybe slight contact, but overall, once again, another pretty much single car incident with no big damage to any car out there on the speedway. I have to wait here in a minute, see if anyone does end up claiming that yellow here tonight. Also, a little bit fun fact, if a yellow is not claimed, we can the admins here in this league will review any caution and determine if there's a blame or maybe a racing deal. Maybe there are things as racing deals here in racing, just like real life. So if you don't think you're fully at fault, you can let it go to the panel and see if your luck works out. Because if they do end up deeming you at fault, you'll get a point penalty and big implications to a playoff run, let's say, with those point penalties. Alrighty, Andrew, we come back to you again. You got an update on this second yellow here tonight?
Yes, I do. Deontay took that one. I think he just got into, I believe, Lee Campbell just a little bit, but he took the claim, and we're getting ready to go back green here shortly.
Awesome stuff. So 2 quick yellows, and I'm sure we're just getting these out of the system here and get ready for a long run here before we know it. As once again, Ron Hart will lead us to green. This time he goes very early off of turn number 4, so these drivers having to keep in mind, do not change lanes before the start-finish line as we go back green flag racing. And Ron Hart with a very, very early jump. We'll have to see what race control thinks of that as we go side by side for third. Brian Wilderson has Stephen Hoffman to his outside. As it looks like Dave Payne was able to get around Nate Henry in that 59 machine. Currently looking at the battle for the third position. Brian Wilderson trying to get clear of Stephen Hoffman. Right now they go door to door into turn number 3. Wilderson able to drive it in there a little bit deeper, but now Hoffman will try the crossovers. Wilderson big time sideways off of turn number 4. This will open up the door to Dave Payne, who will go around on the top side, and we get some 3 wide racing action here at the Lucas Oil Speedway. As Wilderson will slam the door on Nate Henry, he'll get a piece of Devin McDonald, and Nate Henry comes out on the short end of the stick after that one. He'll fall back to the 8th position. Dave Payne makes out like abandoning that one. He'll go all the way up to the 3rd position, leading the 2nd pack. As everyone is kind of single filed out here for the moment, so we'll keep an eye here at some battles. But we're currently looking at the 38 machine of Dave Payne, who's got the gap there to the race lead, as Tim Rogers kind of closing the gap here to our race leader of Ron Hart. Alrighty, Andrew. What are you thinking out here in race control right now with everyone single file now? You seeing any good speed from any of these drivers out here to keep an eye on?
Well, I know Ron and Tim were ones to look at, but they got really far out front once these guys were battling. But the second group of Dave, Brian, and Steven are starting to catch them really slowly. I don't know if that's because they're pushing a little bit harder to get up to the field, or if you know, Ron and Tim are starting to save a little bit more or whatnot. But the second group is really fast. You know, I think it's ultimately going to come down to tire saving a little bit. We're getting into a rhythm here, and I think these guys are going to go long at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is looking that way, Andrew, as yeah, that second group is coming.
I know a little bit of interesting information. Sounds like these guys are going to be super close on fuel as well, based on some calculations that I have heard about. So I'm wondering if any of these guys are saving fuel as well.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see too much fuel saving at the moment, you know, with these tires still being fairly fresh. I think they're going to try and get the performance out of them for a little bit and try and save once these tires start going away. At least that's what I would be doing if I was out there.
Yeah, and especially with how much tire fall off you're going to be saving a little bit just on the as the tires degrade a little bit. So shouldn't be too much of an issue, but it will still be interesting nonetheless.
Yep, for sure, Andrew. It's always fun with a little bit of extra strategy in these races.
Yeah, strategy is you know, a big part of these races, and you know, it could be interesting too if some people come in and pit and take new tires and try to rip through the field later. But I guess we'll have to see if we get along enough run for that.
Yeah, right now everyone pretty spread out. I think the closest battle is maybe 3rd through 5th right now. But yeah, all it takes is one guy getting a little too aggressive with the throttle, and all of a sudden we get a yellow and it bunches everyone back up and opens up that strategy window.
Yeah, I think if we were to get a caution in the next 5 laps, I don't foresee anyone coming in necessarily. But if we get closer to the 3rd or halfway point, I can see a good portion of the field coming in.
Yeah, I agree with that, Andrew. And yeah, maybe we might have one brave soul or something, you know, take into account the car count and whatnot. Maybe they might roll the dice and pit if there is a caution here in the near future.
I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, these guys are running really solid right now as well, and which is really good. But I'm curious to see if anyone rolls the dice at any point.
Yeah, we now look at the top 5 picture here. All the cars on screen as Ron Hart disappears behind the ticker. But this is the top 5 kind of breaking away here at the Lucas Oil Speedway. Everyone at the moment trying to run their own race. What that means is kind of, you know, saving your tires, making sure, you know, you don't put the car on the wall, but also trying to keep your opponents within striking distance if you can, but also not burning up your own stuff. So it's a very delicate balancing act that these drivers go through each and every lap. As with these guys getting spread out a little bit, we're going to go do maybe a little turn 3, turn it up. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back here in a minute. As we come back to live, Andrew, I think one car got a big piece of the wall. I think that was Devin McDonald and Nay Henry battling out. Devin has a lot of right side damage during that turn 3, turn it up.
Yeah, going back and looking at the replay on my end, it looked like they sort of just met in the middle. Devin was coming off the wall, and Nate was low, kind of riding up the track, and they sort of just met in the middle. And it looked like I think Devin got the worst end of that deal. But on my end, it looked like it was sort of a racing incident.
Yeah, and also during the turn 3 turn up, Dave Bain did lose the second position to Brian Wilderson in that battle from third through, it looks like 6th on the speedway. Still very tight.
Yeah, those guys have not wanted to, don't want to leave one another, but I think tires are starting to go a little bit, and curious to see who's going to be able to make the raid towards the front.
Yeah, we have Donovan Carty all over the back bumper of Stephen Hoffman, especially on corner entry. Carty very much trusting that car, floating it right against the wall, but able to get some big runs off the corner because of it.
Yeah, Donovan, I think so far has caught my eye out of that pack. He managed to separate himself from 7th place and caught that pack of 3rd through 5th, and he's definitely putting the pressure there on Steven.
Yeah, and I tell you what, everyone from 1st through 7th, Andrew, all within a 10th of each other. So these guys running pretty similar lap times each lap.
That's really impressive out of the top 7. With being a little bit of being spread out over there, I'm sure that Donovan, would like to contest for the lead, and some of these guys, if they're within a couple tenths of Ron, would like to contest for the lead. But I know starting in the back probably didn't help. But as the run goes on, we could see some of these guys start to fall off big time. We're only about a third of the way through.
Yeah, one guy under fire again is the 38 of Dave Payne. We have Stephen Hoffman and Donovan Carty both seeming pretty hungry right there behind him, but Dave's able to sit in them. Of course, the racing groove, and it's, like you said, Andrew, very tough to pass around this place.
Yeah, I think a lot of the passes that were being made are sort of going to be, or the opportunities that were present earlier in the race are going to be not there anymore. As tires fall off, you can't get as big of a run into the corner on the bottom as you can on the top. So I think a lot of these guys are going to either have to make mistakes to make passes, or just hope that someone burned their stuff off, big time.
Yeah, because I think even the right fronts are gone on most of these cars, Andrew. I think it's going to be hard to even hold the inside line, especially corner exit with that much wheel. It's going to crack sideways on you almost every time.
Yeah, and especially if these guys do manage to get through the corner on the bottom, they're just going to burn up the right front more, and they could just lose the spot they gained if they do manage to make a move on the bottom. So it's you got to have a little bit of give and take, and hope that in the long run of things that you can have the guy in front of you make a mistake.
Yeah, that is the key, Andrew, as Brian Wilderson has caught the back bumper of Tim Rogers, and a little bit of contact for his second position. Wilderson moves Rogers kind of up and out of the way a little.
Yeah, Wilderson is catching Tim there. I think Wilderson has one of the fastest cars on the track outside of Ron.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wilderson has taken care of those tires very nicely. He's figured out a pretty good line of entering pretty high, but getting that thing to cut down and getting a straighter run off the corner. It seems to be working well for that 951. Yeah, like you said, Andrew, Ron Hart is checked out with the race lead.
Yeah, Ron can just sit and save his stuff now, and just sort of pull away. But as we see this big battle for second, I think Wilderson so close to getting. Oh, he did complete the move. That bottom side didn't work very well for him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Wilderson pretty impressive with that move. Gets around Tim Rogers for second. Now Dave Payne has caught him, so we'll have to see if Dave can maybe make a move as a. Yeah, I think those tires are going big time on that 48 machine.
Yeah, I think Tim might have burnt up his stuff a little bit, especially that right front. But the driver that's going to pique my interest the most, I think, is Wilderson. Now he's out in clean air, and I know he has a few seconds to catch Ron, but it'll be interesting to see if he can spend the next 60 laps catching him.
Yeah, or Wilderson's probably hoping for a yellow, but then that throws all the tire strategy and whatnot back into play, as well as we almost get 3 wide here for third.
Yeah, Tim is falling off big time. I think he cooked up that right front. I don't know how much aero affects here, but I'm wondering if him following Ron for as many laps he did as close as he did is hurting him more than he realized.
Yeah, and that was Tim's biggest complaint or worry he had coming into the feature event after that heat win was, hey, I'm going to try and keep that right front under me, but he knows that's the game he has to play, and yeah, it looks like his worst nightmare is coming true in this feature event. Because yeah, if Donovan can get around him, Tim Rogers will fall outside of the top 5.
I think if I'm Tim, I'm staying on the high side the best I can and making these guys go around me and you know, have them burn their stuff up because you know, who knows, someone could blow a right front here if they push too hard.
Yep, we've seen it happen before on the sim, Andrew, and tonight would be no exception with how punishing these things are on the right front with how heavy these cars are for a short track and as little banking as we have tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, this is sort of like a New Hampshire style track. You know, you're going to burn the right front every time, and especially if anyone's getting into that reverse banking on the bottom, that's going to burn the right front even more because they're putting more weight, more force on the on that tire. But you know, who knows? There's a good possibility that you know, maybe Tim's doing something that we don't know.
Yeah, maybe Tim sees the lap counter and wants to go in ultra save mode or something because he's still holding off Donovan Carty there for the 5th position.
I think Donovan might have burnt his stuff up because I knew he was trying to get around Steven and I was trying to get around Tim. I'm wondering how hot that right front tire is on that car.
Yeah, probably pretty high as he gets a piece of the wall down the backstretch. And yeah, Donovan once again enters very low in turn under 3. So yeah, I bet he's burning up that thing pretty good as we get a little bit of lap traffic of, I believe, the 2 machine.
And now the question is, we're getting to the halfway point, Brett. Do you think we see anyone come in at halfway? I mean, I think a lot of these drivers knew they were going to be close on fuel to begin with, but we have had a couple cautions. I know they have been relatively quick periods of yellow, but you know, laps are laps on the fuel. And do you think we're going to see anyone come down a pit and, you know, maybe take a set of tires?
Yeah, I think if anyone pits, it's got to be from like Tim Rogers on back. You know, someone throwing a Hail Mary out there to go to the end and be able to pick up the time and have something crazy happen where, yeah, like you said, maybe they don't take into account how much fuel they're using on the top side or whatnot.
You know, when I set this race up, I didn't plan on it being a fuel strategy race on my end, but you know, some things obviously don't go the way I planned it, and I think this might be turning into a fuel strategy race, and I'm sure even if it isn't and it's close, a lot of these drivers are going to want fresh rubber.
Yeah, I agree. As I'm kind of riding on board with Donovan Carty, Andrew, and it sounds like he's almost shifting on the inside lane, at least in 3 and 4.
I could see, you know, I could see drivers shifting a little bit as he just got loose on the exit of 2. You know, shifting could be a viable option here, having to slow down on these old tires, and you have to slow down a lot on the bottom anyways, so shifting could potentially work, but that is just one, you know, one more factor in the fuel load.
Yeah, it could help the car rotate in the middle, but I tell you what, it would be very hard to put the power down, especially this late in the running. Yeah, we're riding on board with Donovan Carty right now. It sounds like he's shifting out there as he dives down. Oh man, almost gets a piece of bumper from Tim Rogers.
It looks like he might be able to do it. I think the shifting's really helping him get the car to rotate and get a little bit more power off the corner, but I mean, you know, huge applause to him for making it work on the bottom and especially making the shifting work.
Yeah, and I tell you what, with these guys battling out still as Tim Rogers gets a piece of the wall, Donovan gets big time tight. This is allowing Nate Henry to join in this battle. Nate's getting bigger and bigger in that 3 cars mirror.
I think Nate has a solid shot to go on the long run here. You know, he hasn't had to battle anyone, so he's been able to sort of run his line, run his pace, and save his stuff. And I think him running by himself for as many laps as he has put him in a good spot to get by both these guys.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that 59 machine of Nate Henry, he's a little bit of a sleeper of a long run guy, you know. He's not the quickest out of the gate, let's say, but if he gets a long run like we see now, he can really shine. As you can see, he gets around Donovan Carty pretty easily, as I think we see Carty coming to pit road, Andrew.
First driver coming into the pits. Hopefully he doesn't get a speed penalty, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the lap time here from that 3 machine once he gets out of pit road. I'm going to go right on board with Ron Hart, maybe see if we can tell if he's shifting or anything, what this leader's doing.
I think I found him in Ron's seat right now. I'm big time saving fuel. I'm saving tires. Not having to push the car any. You've got a 2-second lead over the 951 car at Williston. You know, if I'm Ron, I'm just cruising right now, and using that gap as a barrier to not overcook anything.
And I tell you what, he's doing that. Andrew kind of running the middle line, coasting it a lot on corner entry, and yeah, I tell you what, Brian Wilderson has chopped down that lead, like you said, from about 3.5, 4 seconds now down to 2. But I think Ron Hart's, like you said, Andrew, taking it really easy, trying to save that tire and that fuel.
Yeah, and Wilderson, he has to push. He has to do everything he can to try to get to Ron, even if that means burn up the right front and a little bit of that fuel. But Ron's doing a really, really good job of letting Brian be the one to make the aggressive moves, and let Ron sort of be on that defensive line a little bit to not overcook anything.
Yeah, no, it looks like Nate Henry might be able to get around Tim Rogers. He was able to clear him. Tim will go to the inside to try and make it work, but Nate Henry finds himself in the top 5 here.
He's got a solid long run car. I'm sure that he's happy with how the car's handling right now. I'd be curious to see if he would come into pit with how good he's been on this long run so far. If I were him, I wouldn't pit. I would stay out as long as I can, stay out the whole run, and hope just end up with a solid run at the end of the night.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew. And if you're the likes of Tim Rogers, find yourself outside of the top 5. I mean, how long do you stay out there? As we see Dave Payne, the first driver from the top 5 down pit road. Also, Tim Rogers looks like he's coming in this time as well, so.
I'm curious to see how those guys do. They were really quick on the shorter run, especially Tim. I don't know if they'll be able to pull back a lap, but they could put themselves in a really good spot. They just got to hope that that there's not a caution now, because if a caution was to come out, a lot of these guys would be trapped a lap down, and not every driver is able to get that lucky dog.
Yeah, it's Dave Payne rolling out from pit road. We got to wonder, can he beat Ron Hart back and only stay 1 lap down? It looks like Donovan Carty might be able to get around Dave Payne for that spot. Looks like no, Dave Payne will come out in front of that 3 machine, even with that 3 machine short pitting. But Donovan Carty made up a lot of track position. He's only like a corner back from Dave Payne, so that short pit did take up a lot of time.
Yeah, but now Dave has the fresher tires, and he can sort of pull away a little bit and not have to worry about Donovan pushing too hard. But Donovan could still go out and get him back. He was really solid on the long run. Even with those older tires, he still could get around Dave.
Yep, that is very true. As Dave Payne, that time by puts down a 22.87. To put that in perspective, Ron Hart just did a 23.6, so almost a second quicker on these new tires. And I'm sure Dave Payne's trying to take care of those new tires as well, not fully pushing on them.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Ron's probably got to be slightly worried a little bit if with these guys on fresher tires. But at the same time, you know, Dave and Tim and these guys have to catch up more than a lap to have anything. And yeah, they are, you know, a couple tenths up to a second faster, but you know, that's a lot to try to make up here.
Yeah, we almost had a yellow. Nate Henry kind of got loose on corner entry, got a piece of the wall, and Dave had to check up big time to be able to not run in the back of him. That killed a little bit of time from that 38 machine. Deontay now, or Donovan, excuse me, about 5 car lengths back.
I think if everyone was to come down and pit, Donovan to Dave, that'll probably be the battle for the lead here. As
we get a yellow flag. I believe it looks like the double O machine of Deontay Hewer and maybe Lee Campbell were involved. So we'll take a look at the replay and then ask for your opinion, Andrew, here in a minute. As we'll take a look at the replay here, I believe the 27 machine may have been involved. No, that's too far away. As we'll take a look at the yellow flag here. Oh, it looks like, yeah, the 27 machine of Lee Campbell gets sideways in that Sonic the Hedgehog machine, parks it up on the outside wall, and I think Deontay here might come in a little bit later and, yeah, get a good piece of that 27 machine. And that will bring out our yellow flag, and of course, we'll see the leaders down pit road, that being Ryan Hart, Brian Woodison, Stephen Hoffman. All the cars that are trapped a lap down will get a wave around with these leaders down pit road. As you can see, Deontay Hewer's car look a little bit sad on pit road. Looks like heavy right front damage to that car. It looks like all these guys will get the laps back. Dave Pay will be the lucky dog in that 38 machine. Andrew, you got an update from race control, or is it too early?
I do. It looks like Lee took the claim on that one. It looks like he just got loose going into turn 3 there, and unfortunately collected Deontay there. I'm sure that Deontay had nowhere to go, especially on older tires. But you know, this is what we were talking about right before this came out. Trapping a lot of cars a lap down potentially, and Dave was the one who received the wave around this caution. So it looks like we'll have about 5 cars on the lead lap. But Brett, I think this puts a lot of people in a bind. You know, Donovan, Tim, Deontay, a lot of these guys are multiple laps down, and you know, I'm not sure that we'll get another caution. I know the field bunched up, but you know, we could get a long run all the way to the end.
Yeah, and I think a few of those guys will get waved around behind the pace car with 1 to go, but yeah, it's only 1 lap there, so like Tim Rogers will get back on the lead lap and whatnot, but yeah, it's going to shake things up a lot. And I think Lee Campbell just came down pit road about 5 laps ago, so you got to wonder, did he break traction with those fresh tires? Not used to those things being as loose as it is, as we saw during those heat races, you know, proved to be a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, and with all this extra rubber on the track too, with cold tires, I know they're not going to grip as easily, and you know, it's curious to see if these newer tires are going to be causing more problems. But yeah, I'm not sure if the pressure tires cause a problem or just got it a little bit too hot there or whatnot. But you know, it's going to be interesting if that was the cause. How these restarts are going to go.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. How will these restarts go? As I believe this time by we should see the 1 to go, and then we'll get ready to rock and roll and see what Brian Woodison can do, because he'll start right on the back bumper of Ron Hart. Once we go green, Andrew, we'll be on lap 69 of 100. Nice.
That's a good lap count there, Brett. But what leaves us with 31 to go. I'm curious to see if I think Ron will be able to pull away.
As Ron jumps on it very early, Andrew, we go back green flag racing in the middle of 3.
Yeah, that was an interesting restart there. With some of these guys having to catch up, and when Ron decided to go.
Yeah, because I tell you what, like Tim Rogers is already a half a lap down from when they decided to go compared to this pack. And oh, did Dave Payne have some issues, Andrew? It looks like he might be out with some mechanical issues.
Yeah, I believe Dave, blinked out there during that caution, and I think unfortunately he fell through, which is not good for him because he was having a super solid night and he just got delayed around, and sucks to have a solid night go down the drain like that.
Yeah, that is a heartbreaking one for Dave Payne as we look up the battle for the race lead. Ryan Wilderson trying to keep Ron Hart honest here inside of 30 laps to go.
I think this is going to be the good battle for the lead here. I think Wilderson, now that he's on equal footing as Ron and is a lot closer, I think he might have the long run pace.
Yeah, only time will tell. Wilderson using that line that he has nailed down throughout this long run. So we'll have to see if maybe Ron Hart moves around, tries his lane or whatnot, or Ron sticks to what he knows is fast and goes from there.
Another driver that I think could be a kind of a silent assassin here is the 59 of Nate Henry. We saw him pick up a ton of time on that long run, so he could be poised to have a solid run here if the rest of this race goes green.
Yeah, he sit at the 4th position, just one spot out from the podium. So if anything wild happens for the race lead, Nate Henry could be right there to capitalize on it.
Now that we're getting in, to the last quarter of this race, do you think we see another caution tonight, or do you think we go green the rest of the way?
I think with how spread out everyone got on that restart, Andrew, that I think we go green the rest of the way. Unless something crazy happens, I think the next flag we'll see is the white flag. What do you think?
I do believe that we can go green the rest of the way here, but I will say, Brian and Steven are going to be pushing a lot harder, and I know Ron will be pushing a lot harder too with the short amount of time to go. I believe the only close battle right now is for second place, but who knows? We could see someone get loose and self-spin again, just like the last caution with how hard these drivers I think are pushing this run. But as much as I'd like to see this race go green to the end, caution would definitely shake a lot of things up.
Yeah, well, then it'll be, do you take the last set? Do you stay out there? A whole bunch of headache to these crew chiefs here tonight.
I think if we get a late race yellow, I'm going for the last set. You got to use them up, and new tires here is huge, especially if you're pulling about a second faster than older tires. And I think 2 tires won't be a good call. I think that's going to be too loose on these cars, but if I'm put in a spot like that, I'm taking 4.
Oh, as Donovan Carty gets big time sideways. Oh, he gets a piece of the inside wall on the front stretch. Big time hit. And it looks like he stays rolling somehow. And there's the yellow flag for it, as this will throw a wrench in the rest of the plan. That was a big time hit for Donovan Carty as he tried to go around. It looked like Devin McDonald in the AT machine. As we look at the replay here, folks, we look at the 3 Milwaukee machine of Donovan Carty. Tries to get the run on Devin McDonald's, gets sideways, tries to save that car, and gets that thing going towards the inside wall again. A big time contact. And then, of course, race control will put out the yellow for that as we had him slow on the speedway. And this will now throw the big wrench in it, allow some guys to bunch on up and get ready to go back to racing. We'll have to see what the call is here. It looks like Ron Hart will stay out. So everyone in the top 4 stays on out, Andrew. I'm surprised we didn't see anyone come down pit road unless it wasn't open that time by.
Yeah, I think pits were not open this time. It'll be curious to see what they do this time.
Yeah, this could decide a lot. Like you said, Andrew, I think at this point you got to take him unless you hope for another yellow later in this race. But I think that'll be hard to come by.
Sorry, Brett, could you repeat that? I had some other chatter going on in my ears from the race control side of things.
Yep, no problem, Andrew. I was just saying, I think if they do decide to stay out and not come in for tires, I think they'll be hard pressed to get another yellow inside of these 20 laps to go, unless if it's right on this restart.
Yeah, I mean, they're on about. Sorry about that, Brett. I had a little more race controlling to do on my end to make sure that these guys get the lucky dog. But I think I think we have another caution. I
All right, it looks like Dev McDonald is the wave around car this time by, and yeah, looks like no takers down pit road, so this should be very interesting to see how these cars handle after a little bit of wear on these tires.
think though, I think these cars will definitely be past the looseness on the cold tires now that they have a few laps on them. But you know, still curious to see, you know, do these guys push as hard as they do, or do they sort of save a little bit? Since I mean, 22 laps in this race is sort of a sprint compared to what they ran in the first stint. But I mean, 22 laps on these tires is still a lot in the you know, the overall of this race.
Yep, I agree, Andrew. I think a lot to be thought of as we'll see what kind of restart Ron Hart does in that 51 machine. As he jumps on the loud pedal here, we go back to green flag racing action off of turn number 4. Ron Hart once again gets away with a great start over the field. Brian Wilderson able to take over the second position. Stephen Hoffman there in third. Tim Rogers able to take over that fourth position from Nate Henry. As Brian Wilson sails that car into turn number 1, he had to check up right at the apex, make sure he doesn't get a piece of that wall. That slows him on up and allowed Ron Hart to get away with about a half a second race lead already. As this time by, we'll see 20 laps to go here for race number 2 of the American Sim Racing Club Sportsman Series, season number 4. As we look at the battle here on the speedway, Tim Rogers under fire from Nathan Henry here in these closing laps. Looks like the battle might be heating up a little bit for the second position. Stephen Hoffman closing the gap to Brian Wilderson.
Yeah, I think the battle for second's going to be that's just going to be what it is. The I think these guys are going to battle so hard that Ron's just going to pull away, and same with Tim and Nate for fourth and fifth there. I think these pairs are going to be battling too hard to have anything for Ron, and I think Ron's just going to set sail into the race win.
Yeah, as long as nothing crazy happens to that 51 machine, he has looked sporty all night long, Andrew, and showing that dominance, trying to go flag to flag here tonight.
Yeah, Ron's been the class of the field so far tonight, and you know, he's a really good short track racer. He ran really well here when we ran the modifieds here in our Wednesday night series too, and you know, I think he's poised to run really solid here for these last 12 laps and not have any issues.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew. As you can tell, right on board with Brian Wilderson, how close you get to that wall, but how far away Ron already is here with 12 laps to go. As the battle for fourth heats on up, Nate Henry looks to the inside of Tim Rogers. Looks like Nate Henry might be able to clear Tim off of turn number 2. He does.
Looks like Tim might have gotten the wall a little bit on the front stretch, or something happened. There was a big old checkup, and Nate definitely took advantage of it and made the bottom work really solidly. So he's up to fourth, and he's had a super solid night even before this.
As that time by, folks, we get inside of 10 laps to go for this race here as we jump on board for the battle for second. Stephen Hoffman still all over the back bumper here of Brian Wilderson. Yeah, Andrew, I think unless Brian makes a big mistake, I think he'll be able to hold off Stephen Hoffman for these last 7.5 laps here.
Yeah, these guys put on a heck of a battle, but I think Steven has to be the aggressor here, and Brian just has to defend and not make any mistakes. But it looks like he's put himself in a good spot to hang on to that second spot.
Yeah, he does. Brian Wilderson able to get off the corner so well in that 951 that Stephen Hoffman, could throw it in a little bit deeper into the corner, but Wilderson strong where it counts. That's corner exit on the short tracks. And now, folks, we get inside of 5 laps to go. So now we're closing in on the end of the race. Ron Hart with a healthy lead over Brian Wilderson and Stephen Hoffman here battling for second. Nate Henry able to pull away from Tim Rogers. And that rounds out the top 5 here with 4 laps to go. As Stephen Hoffman continues to try and make a move on Brian Wilderson, he's running out of time as we have 2.5 laps left in this race. This time at the line, Ron Hart will see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. This battle for second will have, I think, a little bit of a lap car in between them, but I think they should be able to get on around him. As you can see, there's the lapper. But off of turn number 4, Ron Hart will see the white flag in the 51 machine. He's just got to hit his marks for this final lap, and Ron Hart will pick up the win for race number 2 of the American Sim Racing Club Sportsman Series. Ron Hart now down for the final time. Down the backstretch into 3 he goes. And off of turn number 4, Ron the Hitman Hart gets the job done. He'll pick up the win here tonight with the heat race win. Looks like Brian Woodison will hang on to second. Stephen Hoffman will finish third. Don't go anywhere, folks, as we got interviews coming from the top 3, so we'll be able to chat with all those guys. And of course, we'll end the night running through the recap. So we'll be right back after this commercial break. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to the Lucas Oil Raceway. Up first, we'll be talking to our third place finisher, that being Stephen Hoffman in the 23 machine. Stephen, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Giant in the booth here.
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear. So tell us a little bit about your night, Stephen, and how that 23 machine was driving for you.
Started out good. Started out saving tires, and then we got on that long green flag run, and I was like, man, I'm either going to have to pit or I'm going to gamble a bunch. But luckily the caution came out and bunched the top 3 back up, and Brian and I had a heck of a run there, and I just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a heck of a battle between you and Brian. You guys drove your butts off, but I tell you what, Brian's pretty good. He didn't make any big mistakes, but I tell you what, you kept him honest there, right on his back bumper there for the last, I want to say, 30 laps.
Yeah, I come real close there within, I think it was within 10 or 5 to go, and he got on the wall a little bit, and I got a big run out of him, and I tried to leave him, and I probably gave him too much room, but he was able to keep it together and stay in front of me.
Yeah, Steven, so first time talking with you with this series, at least this season, so tell us a little bit about your car. It looks like a pretty special one here tonight at the Lucas Oil Raceway.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a lot of people do know, Ken Block passed away over the weekend, and seeing this car on Trading Paints and thought I'd throw it on there just to remember him. He's a pretty cool guy and done a lot for the community motorsports-wise.
That he has, Steven, so awesome tribute. Really do appreciate it. It's a good-looking car out there, and hey, maybe brought you some luck here tonight with a podium. And Steven, sorry, we're feeling under the weather here, so we're going to have a fairly short interview, but before we let you go, maybe tell us about some season expectations with this season, and of course, some sponsors for this 23 machine.
I think third place here maybe got us the points lead in the series, since a lot of people didn't show up tonight. So we'll just try to run consistently and get us the top 3 at the end of the week, or end of the year, end of the season. And I just thank the ASRC for putting these leagues on, and you guys for what you do. Makes it a lot of fun to have all this done.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for being out there, Steven, putting on a good show. And I forgot to mention, you got anyone you want to shout out to on the broadcast tuning on in?
Dad and brother, they're pretty little. They race, or they watch every weekend, so it's pretty neat to have them watch.
All right. Awesome stuff, Steven. So congrats again on the third place finish, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you throughout the season. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
All righty, folks. We'll now dial up our second place finisher, that being Brian Woodison in the 951 machine. Brian, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Giant in the booth.
Hey, Brett, how's it going?
We're doing all right. Definitely under the weather, but still coming out broadcasting. So I definitely recommend rewatching this on mute. But Brian, you had a heck of a run. Your car looked very sporty, especially in that long run. Tell us a little bit about your night.
Yeah, I feel like I might have had a chance there on the long run. It was a pretty good run we had going, and I was kind of saving my tires, and I felt like I was right on point with saving my tires and then I started looking at my fuel mileage, and we had about 50 laps to go, and I had to save about a lap or two of fuel, so I was trying to save some fuel there too, and it was looking to be a good long run there, and then once we got on short run, it kind of the race changed a little bit.
Yeah, I tell you what, Brian, those late race restarts, Ron was definitely on top of those restarts, jumping very early. But Brian, he did a heck of a job defending Steven there. I know he was a big object in your mirror for a lot of laps, it seemed like.
Yeah, he definitely was. And Ron was just, he was on point, man. He didn't make any mistakes. And I'd almost caught him making one mistake. And that was my only opportunity, and I couldn't pull off the pass. And he didn't make any more mistakes from then on out. So then I was just defending Steven because he was putting some pressure on me.
Yeah, he was, Brian. I tell you what, that was a heck of a showing from you in this 951 machine. But before we let you go, celebrate this runner-up finish, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank and who you got to give a shout-out to.
I just want to thank American Sim Racing Club, and these guys put on a heck of a show each week, and the admins do a great job keeping everything really well run. It's a pretty good club to be part of.
Yeah, I tell you what, Brian, we appreciate your support. You're one of the diehards, and you definitely don't go unnoticed. So, Brian, we appreciate it, and once again, congrats on the runner-up here tonight.
Hey, thanks, Brett.
Alrighty, folks, and now we'll head down to Victory Lane to talk to the man of the hour, that being Ron Hart. Ron, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Giant in the booth.
Yeah, I got you, Brett.
Alrighty, Ron. Heck of a run. You go flag to flag here tonight. Tell us a little bit about your race, and man, how were you so quick in that 51 machine?
Oh, man, Brett, I was hoping to go green there. I think we had a good strategy if we went green. A lot of guys were pitting short on gas, and was able to kind of recognize that early and move to the bottom and save quite a bit. So I was in good shape if we went green. And then we got them late cautions, and that was all right, too. Made it kind of fun, I guess. It's funner just to go all out for 25 laps versus saving gas for 100, but it worked out.
Yeah, it did, Ron, and work out. That definitely did. You go flag to flag leading all the laps in the feature. You pick up the heat win as well. And I tell you what, it's a good weekend for you out here at Lucas Oil. You definitely showed off your short track skills here tonight.
Yeah, it feels good, man. Been a rough last handful, 10, 12 races, I feel like, in the league, getting crashed and having some races slip away late, getting beat by yourself last Wednesday on some pit strategy and couldn't get back by you. So it feels good to have a clean race tonight and get it done.
Yeah, I tell you what, Ron, it was a lot of fun battling, especially in that race last Wednesday. It was definitely close, especially when I almost turned Hayden and I bunched everyone up, and I'm like, oh, here comes Ron. So that was a bunch of fun, and yeah, you definitely flex those muscles here tonight, Ron.
Yeah, I was trying to get it done as fast as I could for you, Brett, so you can go get some rest and feel better.
Alrighty, Ron. Well, I won't keep you too much longer, but I'll hand the mic over to you, and you can give a shout-out who you got to thank for this 51 car and the win here tonight.
Thanks for toughing it out for tonight. Do the broadcast, man. I know my parents were watching tonight from back at their house, so I appreciate you sticking it out for us. Andrew and the guys for putting on this good league, and look forward to hopefully feeling better and racing with you on Wednesday. Alrighty,
Ron. Sounds like a plan. I'll be there if I can be. I plan to be there. So, Ron, you have yourself a great rest of the night. Congrats on the win. And hopefully you'll keep that momentum rolling to Wednesday.
Thanks, Brett.
Alrighty, folks. That was Ron, the Hitman Hart, getting the job done here tonight from Lucas Oil Speedway. So we're going to go run through the race results and probably wrap it on up so I can stop talking and you guys can stop listening to my annoying, sick voice. As of course, we're not going to give race results, it looks like. Oh, here we go. Ron Hart picks up the win. Brian Wilderson will finish second. Stephen Hoffman rounds out the top three. Fourth goes to Nathan Henry with a great run. Tim Rogers rounds out the top five. Sixth goes to Devin McDonald. Seventh, Lee Campbell. 8th is John DeMeester. 9th is Donovan Carty. 10th is Dave Payne. And rounding out the field tonight is Deontay Hero in the 000 machine. So, everyone, have a good rest of your night. Thanks for sticking it out with me. I know I sound probably very bad, so appreciate you guys tuning on in. We'll catch you next week with a lot better sound and Brett. And everyone stay safe, take care, and don't get sick like me. So, everyone, have a great one, and we'll catch you next week. I've been Brett the Jet, and I just flew by.